Come and watch and see how I built this one-of-a-kind, unique, beautiful bandsaw box from a branch that I found in my wood pile. This is the slice of the branch that I found in the wood pile. I explain at the end of the video much of what I'm doing to make this bandsaw box, but just very briefly, I cut a slab off either end of the branch. One will be the top of the box and one will be the bottom. And as you cut each one off, label it either as top or bottom, what you prefer. Just either with a T, B, whatever you like. Here I'm just outlining the design I want. The branch is kind of heart-shaped, so I'm actually putting a heart-shaped design that I will trace through. It's just a matter of cutting through the side. Try to follow the grain or the rings of the branch, so that later on when you glue it together, it'll conceal the cut or the kerf mark from the bandsaw that you're making here as much as possible. I'm using as narrow or thin a bandsaw blade that I have, so that it will make the tight curves. This is fairly small. If this was a very large bandsaw box, I could use a larger blade, but this is small. Here, this is the center part that I cut out of the branch, the very small. I'm taking 2 slabs off that, and you'll see in a minute what they're for. Here I'm just, I put a little bit of glue in the kerf mark where I cut through the bandsaw, cut through the side of the box or the branch. Add a little bit of glue there, and of course with a clamp, just clamping it in place and leaving it there so that it will, if done right, it actually hides that cut. It almost seems quite seamless done right. This is one of the slabs I took off the centerpiece that I cut out of the middle. You can see it's kind of heart-shaped, and I'm just going to glue it on the top to make it as a handle. I'll say this again at the end, but whenever you're sanding, don't sand any more than absolutely necessary. Just test fitting everything here after I took the clamp off, make sure the top and the bottom still fit nicely. And you'll see how I'm using one of the heart pieces here in a second. That'll be a handle for the top. In addition to be able to use it as a handle, it actually adds, in my opinion, a little bit of pizzazz or a little bit of a relief on the top that I think just improved. Last night I came into the workshop and I didn't have the camera with me, but the piece that was cut out of the center, I cut off. You saw that I cut off the center here and sanded down for the top. It was kind of like a handle. I'd cut another thin slab off, just put a thin bit of glue on, and put the cover down, dropped it in place, put the glue down to fit in place here with the cover. Left it for a couple of hours. I didn't even clamp it, I just made sure it was pressed. Didn't make sure that I just the minimum amount of glue that would hold it there. I didn't want any squeeze out that would stick that part to the sides, the rest of it. And when I come out, I now have a heart-shaped stop that when you allows you to, it's still fairly loose fitting to go on easy, but it holds the top in place perfectly, or very close to perfectly. you're sanding the edges here, make sure you don't sand too much, because in order for the top and bottom to fit as tightly as possible, you want them to be fairly close to the original. Just do enough to remove the rough edges. So just a very light sanding. Definitely make sure before you glue the bottom on that it's the correct and not the top that you're gluing it to. So just double check with the top that everything is correct. It's best to label it. If you don't, though, just do a double check. And that in this case, so I'm all ready to glue. That's the top here. So put this down. It's been sanded now to 150. It's still a little rough. There's still a couple of marks inside, but it's still rustic. Considering you're still leaving the bark on, I'm happy with this. It's nice and smooth. Just again, remember, don't sand out these contours if you want everything to fit back together as well. As you can see, that's a pretty good fit. And again, remember which is the top and the bottom. Don't use any more glue than you have to, or else you'll have to be trying to clean that off, and that's not going to be easy. Don't want to be adding glue to get it smearing out over the bark if you're trying to keep the bark, because cleaning that off you might accidentally take parts of the bark off, and then that'll ruin the look if that's what you're going for. I mean, you could remove the bark. I think it would look quite nice if the bark was removed, but on this piece of, I think it's cherry, pin cherry, choke cherry, it could be a birch, but it smells like cherry. The bark is, at this stage, is pretty well sealed on. I don't think it's going to come off very easily. It's kind of ingrained, so it's soaking in there pretty good. I do want the bottom to stay on. Now at this stage, you definitely want to do one shot to match this up as best as you can. My simple little branch ring box, bandsaw box is complete. It's just simply from a branch that had a little notch in it. And if I just sliced the top off, sliced the bottom off, kept them and make sure I marked them. You see I still have the B on the bottom of this one. I haven't sanded off for the B for bottom. And then taking the bandsaw, just a matter of going inside, using the bandsaw to follow the inside, cut that out, and then I used that center part, took two slices off that, one to make the top, to make a handle. The other I used for the inside, so that when I put the cover on, it keeps it from falling off, and it helps to center it into the opening. And just glued the bottom back on. The top fits there, and I just took a little time to use the sander and just kind of angled these back. It's also heart-shaped and simple, easy. This is more of a tutorial. You could finish off the inside with some flocking material or fleece or felt or something, or paint it. I may just put some clear finish on this, like a urethane. I think it might actually look better if I took the bark off, but I just kind of looked at this. I think this is cherry, like pin cherry, choke cherry, and the bark seems to be very well adhered. It doesn't seem to want to come off, so I think I might do more damage. And but this is more of a tutorial how to make bandsaw boxes and how you can make them quite simply and basically free wood. This was a piece of firewood my wife said after she cut it, said, I like kind of heart shape. Can you do something with it? So I've had this for a while. Anyway, hope you like this. I'm not going to sell or do anything. It's just kind of a keepsake. It was fun to make, and I thought I would share it with you guys. If you like this, please subscribe and thumbs up, and provide your comments. Like I say, what do you think? Should I remove the bark? This is Don. Till the next video, and which is right here, and hopefully I'll have this out in the next few days. Thanks.